it's story time at Hive, and it's time for you to join in the stories. Now listen kids, I hope you're not getting too bored at home, but even if you are, this is 10 minutes of drama class in your own house, okay? But I have a deal. If you want to join in the story time, you've got to make sure that your faces are acting too. So first of all, check if your eyebrows are working. Is your nose working? Your mouth working? Shake off your hands. Okay, let's get started. Today's book is one of my favorite stories. It's called Rosie Revere Engineer, and it's about a little girl who's really afraid of not being right. So shall we get started? Okay. She's an inventor, Rosie Revere, and she wants to become a great engineer. Rosie Revere Engineer by Andrea Beatty. This is the story of Rosie Revere, who dreamed of becoming a great engineer. In Leela Greer's classroom at Blue River Creek, young Rose sat shyly, not daring to speak. Can you see all the kids? Everybody looks happy, everybody's chattering away, but little Rosie Revere, she's putting on her shy face. Okay, let's try a very shy face. Can you make a shy face for me? Yeah, great. Okay. But when no one saw her, she peeked in the trash for treasures to add to her engineer's stash. So how did she peek inside that dustbin? Maybe she was looking like that. Do you want to try? Maybe she pulled out something and she looked at it. Do you want to look at it? Wow. Okay. And late at night, Rosie rolled up her sleeves and built in her hideaway under the eaves. So she rolled up her sleeves. Everybody roll up your sleeves. Let's get to work. Alone in her attic, the moon high above, dear Rosie made gadgets and gizmos she loved. And when she grew sleepy, she hid her machines far under the bed where they'd never be seen. So how do you think Rosie made her sleepy face? Time to get to bed. Do you want to try? Wonderful. When Rosie was young, she had not been so shy. She worked with her hair swooping over one eye. I think she had my haircut. So she had her hair swooping over one eye, just like that. And made fine inventions for uncles and aunts. A hot dog dispenser and helium pants. She must be really intelligent. Look at the stuff that she's creating. A hot dog dispenser, helium pants. Whoa! The uncle she loved most was Zookeeper Fred. She made him a hat to keep snakes off his head. How would you act if there were snakes on your head? Do you want to try too? From parts of a fan and some cheddar cheese spray, which everyone knows keeps pythons away. And when it was finished, young Rosie was proud. She put on her proud face, which we're going to try. But Fred slapped his knee and he chuckled out loud. He laughed till he wheezed and his eyes filled with tears. All to the horror of Rosie Revere, because she thought he was laughing at her. Oh no, nobody likes being laughed at like that. She stood there, embarrassed, perplexed, dismayed. These are all words for kind of feeling disappointed. Do you want to show us embarrassed? Perplexed? I don't know what's going on. Dismayed, which is really sad. She looked at the cheese hat and then looked away. I love it, Fred hooted. Oh, I truly do. But Rosie Revere knew that could not be true. She stuck the cheese hat back on the shelf. She was really frustrated, right? So how did she pick up that cheese hat? You want to show me? And she put it on her shelf. And after that day, She kept her dreams to herself. That's such a sad thing, right? So nice when you share your dreams and you tell everybody what you're dreaming about. And that's how it went until one autumn day, her oldest relation showed up for a stay. That's her oldest relation. Her great-great-aunt Rose was a true dynamo who worked building planes a long time ago. She told Rosie tales of the things she had done and goals she had checked off her list one by one. She's a very adventurous lady, right? So she has an adventurous kind of body. She's all ready for an adventure. Do you want to try? She gave a sad smile as she looked to the sky. The only thrill left on my list is to fly. But time never lingers as long as it seems. I'll chalk that one up to an old lady's dreams. Basically, what Aunt Rose is trying to say is that she really wants to fly. So how can we say that sentence? I really want to fly. Do you want to try? That night, as Rosie lay wide-eyed in her bed, a daring idea crept into her head. Could she build a gizmo to help her aunt fly? She looked at the cheese hat and said, "No, not I." What does our face become like when there's something very difficult in front of us? No, not I. You can try that at home too. No, not I. But questions are tricky and some hold on tight, and this one kept Rosie awake through the night. So when dawn approached and red streaks lit the sky, that means basically when it was morning again, young Rosie knew just how to make her aunt fly, because all night she had been thinking of this. She worked and she worked till the day was half gone, and then she hauled her cheese copter out onto the lawn. So she had built a helicopter, and it's a really heavy thing, so she pulled it. How would we pull it? Pull the cheese copter. You want to try? Okay, let's pull it together. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, grab and pull the cheese copter onto the lawn. To give her invention a test, just see the ridiculous flop it might turn out to be. She didn't really believe in herself at this time. Strapped into the cockpit, she flipped on a switch. Let's flip on a switch. The helio cheese copter sputtered and twitched. It was making all kinds of funny noises. So if you were in a helicopter and things were shaking, how would you act? She was quite scared. It floated a moment and whirled round and round, then froze for a heartbeat and crashed to the ground. Now we're both going to imagine that our helicopters are crashing, okay? So first it shakes. Shake. You can try it too. Shake. Shake and and crash. Oh my God. This is really a terrible thing to happen. Then Rosie heard laughter and she turned around to see the old woman was laughing and slapping her knee. She laughed till she wheezed and her eyes filled with tears, all to the horror of Rosie Revere. So how do you think her Aunt Rose was laughing? You want to try? Big, loud laugh. All to the horror of Rosie Revere, who thought, "Oh no, never, not ever again will I try to build something to sputter and spin, or build with a lever, a switch or a gear, and never will I be a great engineer." She's really upset. So maybe we can try that line. Never will I be a great engineer. Never will I be a great engineer. Do you want to try? She turned around to leave, but then great Aunt Rose grabbed a hold of young Rosie and pulled her in close. So she put an arm on little Rosie Revere and she pulled her in close and gave her a tight hug and hugged her and kissed her and started to cry. You did it! Hooray! It's the perfect first try. Because when you try anything for the first time, it's bound to have a couple of mistakes, right? That's when you're learning. So that's why she said that. She said, you did it! Do you want to try? This great flop is over. It's time for the next. Young Rosie was baffled, embarrassed, perplexed. We've tried these expressions before, right? Baffled. Want to try? Embarrassed. Perplexed. I failed, said dear Rosie. It's just made of trash. Didn't you see it? The cheese copter crashed. Yes, said her great aunt. It crashed. That is true. But first, it did just what it needed to do. Before it crashed, Rosie, before that, it flew. She's trying to encourage her, right? She's trying to get her to not stop building. Your brilliant first flop was a raging success. Come on, let's get busy and on to the next. She handed a notebook to Rosie Revere, who smiled at her aunt as it all became clear. Life might have its failures, but this was not it. The only true failure can come if you quit. They worked till the sun sneaked away to bed. Aunt Rose tied her headscarf around Rosie's head. So she put on this headscarf. You can put on an imaginary headscarf. And she tied it up tight and sent her to sleep with a smile year to year to dream the bold dreams of a great engineer. At Blue River Creek, all the kids in grade 2 built gizmos and gadgets and doohickeys too. With each perfect failure, they all stand and cheer, but none quite as proudly as Rosie Revere. So here's a big question to ask yourself. Why do you think Rosie was feeling that way? And is there something that you've been trying for a very, very long time, but you're thinking of quitting? And do you want to give it a second try? Maybe you can talk to mom and dad about that. Thank you for joining me and well done. Round of applause.